Welcome back, guys. Great show for you today. Let's go ahead and get into them. And I'm going to start with Tennessee, Kansas City. The Chiefs opened 7, now 7.5. Totals at 44.5. Chiefs are 360 on the money line. And at the moment, the Chiefs are taking 54% of the action. Now, when it comes to the trends, Kansas City's been strong against the number as of late. 4-0 covering in their last 4, 10-6 against the spread on the year. They've also garnered themselves some great success at Arrowhead Stadium, 6-2 against the spread in all their home games. They're going up against a Tennessee squad who struggled to cover on the road, just 3-5 ATS in their games away from home. The Titans have also failed to cover 2 of 3 games this year as the official road underdog. And when it comes to the scoring, lots of unders in both teams' games. 4-2 to the under in their last 6 respectively. All that in mind, I'm going to take a pass here on the total. KC's been lighting up the scoreboard in their last couple of games. And also on the Tennessee side of things, they've scored 23 points in each of their last 2 games, throwing out week 17. So total-wise, not a real good beat on that one. I'm going to forego a play on the line there. And when it comes to the number, there's no doubt that KC is the clear-cut favorite to get the job done, especially with how bad Tennessee's been in the last few weeks. The only thing that concerns me about a play towards Kansas City is the fact that Tennessee's done a great job keeping it close and covering over good teams. And as a matter of fact, the Titans successfully covered the spread 75% of the time when facing teams over 500. So with all those contradictory factors in mind, I'm just going to sit this one out and possibly plop this game into a playoff super teaser. I think KC wins this one outright, but it's too expensive to bet them straight up. All right, next game, Atlanta at the LA Rams. The Rams opened 5, moved up to 5.5. Total open 50.5, down to an even 50 flat. Rams are 260 to win it. 71% is backing the Rams. With all that confidence behind them, I'm only compelled in good conscience to remind you that LA's actually struggled when it comes to the books as of late. The Rams failed to cover 3 of their last 4, and they also covered less than 50% of their games at home this year. They're going up against an Atlanta team who not only kept the edge sharp by playing a significant game last week, but has also won 3 of their last 4. This Atlanta team's also been hot as of late, 6-2 straight up in their last 8, 5-3 against the number in their last 8 as well. Now, scoring-wise, ton of unders in these Atlanta games. 4-0 to the under in their last 4, 6-2 to the under in their last 8. We've also seen a significant amount of early money come pouring in on the under in this one. General public thinking that number opened just a tad too high as well. All in all, I'm going to lean toward 2 plays in this one, and obviously my first lean is toward the under 50 flat in this one. My other lean is toward the spread, and I really think the right team got hot at the right time, and it's the very same team who's 4-2 covering in their last 6 games, facing teams over 500. I'd like to see this one get closer to 7, but all told, I'm unfortunately in the position where I have to take a dog. All in all, I'm going to purchase the hook, buy it up, and lean toward the Falcons +6, the under 50 total points in this one. All right, next game, Buffalo +7 at Jacksonville. Total moved down to 39.5. The Jags are 360 for some money line cash. Just 40% is backing the Bills in this one. But despite the small lean toward Buffalo, these guys have been good against the number as of late. 3-1 against the spread in their previous 4, 4-2 in their last 6. They also proved to be one of the better covering teams in the league, finishing up the regular season with a record of 10-6 against the spread overall. That said, though, Buffalo's facing a Jacksonville squad who's been dominant against the number in several categories themselves. First off, they're 3-1 ATS in their last 4 games, throwing out week 17. They're also 3-0 against the spread in their most recent 3 home games, 2 of which they were laying double digits. And thirdly, this Jacksonville squad's covering 75% of their games when facing teams over 500. Now, when it comes to the total, good mix of overs and unders in both teams' games. Jacksonville games went 4-4 to the over in their last 8. Meanwhile, on the Buffalo side, same song and dance there too. Their games went 4-4 to the over in their last 8 themselves. Looks like the public is expecting some defense, and to be honest, I can't blame them. That in mind, though, Buffalo has averaged 21 points of scoring in their last 3, and Jacksonville's averaged 36 points a game in their last 3 themselves, throwing out Week 17. So all in all, a play on the total is something I have little to no interest in playing, parlaying, teasing, or even thinking about. But when it comes to the number, there's a little trend pertaining to Buffalo that's extremely alarming, and it's this. The Bills have failed to cover 5 of 7 games versus teams allowing less than 21 points a contest. So basically, whenever Buffalo faces a stingy D, that stingy D tends to slow down Tyrod and the boys significantly. So once again, Buffalo's covering just 29% of their games versus defenses allowing less than 21 points a game. And on another side note, Buffalo's covered just 4 of 9 as the official Vegas underdog. All that in mind, I got to lean toward a play on the Jags here. So all told, I'm leaning toward Jacksonville -7, getting the job done at home. And welcome back to the playoffs, by the way, Jacksonville. All right, I'm going to slide into my next and final game for the show. I cannot wait for this one. I'm talking about Carolina +6.5 at New Orleans, total 48.5. Currently, the Saints are 250 to win this one outright, and at the moment, just 35% is backing the Panthers. So look for them to catch another half a point or so very soon. And if you're one of those few leaning toward Carolina, I think you might be in a pretty advantageous spot here when it comes to the number. Not only are the Panthers 7-1 in their last 8 throwing out Week 17, but this Carolina team has been covering machines as well. They're 2-1 ATS in their last 3, 6-2 against the spread in their last 8, both stats throwing out Week 17. Carolina's also been great when the deck is stacked against them. 62% covering on the road, 71% covering as the official Vegas underdog. They're going up against a New Orleans team who kind of crawled across the finish line when it comes to wagering. The Saints finished the year just 1-3 against the spread in their last 4 and just 2-5 against the spread in their last 7. They have garnered some pretty good success against these Panthers, though. Saints went 2-0 covering in their 2 games when they went head-to-head with the Panthers. Maybe they'll own them once again, but I really think this Panther team is due for at least one cover over the Saints this year. Now, when it comes to the total, this one once again opened at 48.5. That's a real tough number to play, a real sharp number in my opinion. Now, once again, both teams played in Week 17 contests of little to no significance on their playoff status, so I'll once again throw out the Week 17 numbers. That said, though, Carolina finished the season 2-1 to the overs and 5-1 to the over in their previous 6. But if you think this one's going to resemble basketball on turf, just keep in mind that New Orleans games went 3-2 to the under in their previous 5 on their side of things. And once again, I have to remind you, those figures on the total did in fact omit the meaningless Week 17. So keep that in mind. Those are significant numbers there. But when it comes to the scoring in this one, I really have no idea where it's going to end up. I've seen both teams play in barn burners, and I've also seen them play in defensive gridlocks. So only time will tell. If you have a good beat on the total in this one, feel free to let us all know in the comments section below what side you're leaning toward and why. But when it comes to the number, I really think the Panthers will keep this one close. I think their backers are in a good spot. I realize the Saints are one of the better covering teams in the National Football League, but I can't see them blowing the Panthers out with how good they've been playing lately. Kind of a weird scenario where I'm not sure who's going to win this one outright. Probably the Saints will get the job done straight up, but I'm not worried about a winner in the spot here. I'm worried about the number. So all told, I'm going to purchase the hook, buy it up, and take the Carolina Panthers +7, getting the job done against the spread. All right, folks, before I get out of here, I just want to leave this one word for you. I typically hate parlays, round robins, teasers, any type of exotic. I think they're big-time sucker bets. They're traps, bad value. Certainly fun to play. But if at any time you were to play a teaser, I really think now's the time of the year, especially in next week's round of playoffs. A little less susceptible to a blowout, except for maybe the Eagles next week. But for the most part, a lot of these teams are pretty evenly matched. So if you can book or catch a book that offers a little super teaser on the spreads, this would be your time of the year to typically clean house, maybe throw a little money at it. These playoff games typically stay pretty tight to the opening number. So if you got a book that offers a super teaser and you got a few extra bucks to throw around, feel free to do that, man. I think it's a great opportunity for you to, be in all the games and maybe make a little cash. You pay a little juice for them, especially the super teasers, but they're certainly fun to play if you're more of a one or two bet a week gambler. But anyway, folks, that is going to do it for me. Before I get out of here, I have to remind you that I am not a sports betting expert, nor do I implore you to take any of my picks. A wise man once said, good ain't free, and free ain't good. If for some reason you decide to use the free information on this program, you're utilizing it at your own discretion. Most importantly, if you're betting any of these games, do it safe, do it responsibly, and most important, have fun. For Brock Page Productions, thank you for watching. I'm Brock Page, and have yourself a positive day.